I want you to think about how you would respond if you heard your partner say this to you. Hey, you know what? I've been thinking. Maybe it's time for us to take a break. How did that make you feel? By the end of this video, you'll be able to tell if the way you responded to my original question was based on having a healthy or an unhealthy attachment style. Make sure to stick around until the end, because we will give you some practical steps to help you transition from unhealthy attachment to a much healthier one. Number 1. Anxious or ambivalent attachment. Someone with an anxious or ambivalent attachment style is not very secure in their relationships. Take Sarah, for example. She's always worried in her relationships, needing constant reassurance from her partner. If they want space or time with friends, she gets anxious, thinking they're drifting away. Sarah really wants to be close to her partner and likes it when they're affectionate, but she's also scared they might leave. It's like being on a roller coaster ride, with lots of ups and downs in her feelings. Basically, Sarah's a bit needy, and she doesn't feel safe in her relationships. Because of the constant ups and downs in her emotions, forming long-lasting, meaningful connections can be a challenge for her. In fact, adults with an ambivalent attachment style tend to fall in and out of love frequently. There are many reasons why some adults end up with this anxious ambivalent attachment style. It's believed that childhood trauma, abandonment, and genetics play a role in someone having an anxious ambivalent attachment style. Number 2. Avoidant attachment. As the name suggests, if you have an avoidant attachment style, it means you tend to steer clear of getting too close in relationships. People might even call you commitment phobic. You can make friends and be in relationships, but here's the difference between you and someone with a secure attachment. You're not big on investing a lot of emotion in your relationships. So when things end, you don't feel disappointed. It's a way for you to protect yourself, but here's the catch. It also hinders you from building those long-lasting, meaningful relationships. In the 1970s, psychologist Mary Ainsworth did a research study that's now famously called the strange situation. In it, small children between the ages of 12 to 18 months were observed to see how they would respond to being left alone for a short period, and then they were reunited with either their mother or a stranger. Ainsworth found that babies with an avoidant attachment style didn't really care about having their mother there. They were not disturbed when their mother left, and they either ignored or avoided their mother when she came back. Number 3. Disorganized attachment. This is sort of a mixed bag of attachment styles. If you have this type of attachment style, you likely go back and forth from being clingy and needy to being distant and avoidant. Here's a great example of someone with disorganized attachment. Imagine you have a friend named Mike. Mike had a tough childhood. He experienced abuse and neglect at the hands of his parents at a young age. Mike saw his parents being loving and caring sometimes, but other times, things got a bit scary. Because of this, Mike grew up feeling like he had to always be on alert. He didn't know what to expect from people. As an adult, Mike finds it difficult to trust people, and he's afraid to get close to people because he doesn't know how they'll act. Mike developed a disorganized attachment style due to the way his parents treated him as a child. Children who are neglected and abused by their parents grow up to become adults who feel torn between wanting close relationships and fearing them. Number 4. Secure attachment. Picture this. You're strolling through the grocery store and you spot a little girl zipping by you. But whoops, she takes a tumble and starts screaming and crying. That's when her mom, like a superhero, rushes to the scene. She cleans up the little girl's scrape, gives her a tight, comforting hug and says, "Don't worry, honey, you'll be just fine." And in a snap, the tears are gone and she's back to being the happy little girl she is. This is what we call a securely attached child. When the mom swooped in to save the day, the child learned something important, that her mom is there for her when she's in trouble. It's like having a trusty sidekick who's always got your back, no matter what. Secure attachment means having someone you can always count on, someone who's your safety net when you need them most. This is the ideal attachment style that all of us want because it's the healthiest form of attachment there is. If you have this type of attachment, then consider yourself lucky. You most likely grew up around people who loved you, you felt safe around them, and you felt understood by the adults in your life. Research has shown that people with this secure attachment style tend to grow up to be empathetic adults. That's right, having a solid foundation in your early years can turn you into an understanding, caring, and all-around awesome human being. So now we get to the most important part of this video. What can you do to change your attachment style from an unhealthy one to a healthy one? Here are 5 things you can try. Tip number 1. Become self-aware. Start by understanding your current attachment style and how it might be affecting your relationships. First, you need to take a closer look at yourself and your emotional reactions in relationships. Pay attention to how you respond when things get tough or when you get close to someone. Do you find yourself getting anxious, distant, or maybe a bit clingy? These reactions can be clues to your attachment style. Next, it's all about reflecting on your past. Think back to your early experiences, like how you were raised and how your caregivers treated you. Were they consistently there for you, or were things a bit unpredictable and confusing? Those early days have a big impact on how you connect with others now. Tip number 2. Figure out your triggers. What are some things or feelings that make you act a certain way in your relationships? Those are triggers. So you look for patterns in your behavior and notice when you feel anxious, distant, or clingy. You might feel like this as an adult because of your experience as a child, like not having someone there for you when you needed them. Once you spot these triggers, you're in a better place to choose how you want to react, and this can lead to a healthier, happier relationship. Tip number 3. Talk to a therapist. Talking with a therapist can help you answer the question of why we are the way we are. Therapists are great at helping connect the dots between our past and our present. If you've never seen a therapist before and feel anxious about the whole experience, we have another great video that'll help clear up some misconceptions and assumptions about therapy. Make sure to check it out. Tip number 4. Communicate. Talking openly and honestly with your partner or loved ones is really important when you're trying to change how you connect with them. You can let them know about your attachment concerns, like if you get anxious or distant in a relationship. By telling them what you need and also listening to what they need, you can strengthen your bond. Together, you can solve any issues that come up, making the relationship a safe place for both of you to grow and have better connections. Number 5. Have patience. Remember, we're all the result of our upbringing. You did not learn to have an unhealthy attachment style overnight. So it will take time and effort to undo all the unhealthy behaviors you have learned over the course of your life and replace them with something healthy. So take your time, take one step at a time, and please be kind to yourself. Hope this video and the tips we have shared with you today will help to improve the way you connect with the people around you. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you can watch more content like this. And if you know someone who could benefit from this information, please feel free to pass this video on. As always, don't forget to spread loving kindness to all beings around you and be the change you want to see in the world. See you next time.